Hi, YouTube. Shelby and I are here in Presidio, Texas. We're waiting on our new SIM card for our new phone service, but we're going to leave and go to Malfa, Texas, because by the time our new SIM card gets here, the post office probably would not have put it in our P.O. box. So, and Presidio, Texas is hot and boring. Now the swimming pool is open. Thank God for that. We went swimming yesterday, but it's so hot here. You actually have to be in the pool to cool off because they have some shade, but it's not a lot. So you actually have to be sitting in a specific place for the sun not to scorch you. But the swimming pool is nice. And Shelby and I, we swam all day yesterday until the pool closed because we were waiting on our SIM card. And we don't want to go home right away because we don't want to go home and turn back around, like the next day or something like that, because those 3 miles of rough road, you don't want to do that all the time, especially if it's not necessary. So once we leave the mountains, we're usually gone for a little while. We try to take care of everything, make each trip count. Even when we're going on road trips for recreation, we always bring back water, always take our trash with us, and just always bring back the needed supplies. Try to get things done, as much done with each trip, especially when it's a supply run, a Pacific supply run. But sometimes we do miscellaneous runs, and sometimes we do road trip for recreation. But even then, we always make each trip count. So we'll have what we need and some of the things we want while we're out there on our ranch. Now, I want to talk about caring for another adult. I think I'm going to try to start a series on caring for another adult. And I think it entails a lot more than what a lot of people believe it does. That those that's not too familiar with taking care of another person, particularly another adult person, because if you don't actually do it, if you've never done it for any length of time, you probably just really don't know all that it entails. So I think I want to start a series on that. And like today, I'm just going to cover, well, one thing, taking care of another adult includes taking care of yourself. So you're actually taking care of two adult human beings on a daily basis. And that is a lot easier said than done. But naturally you can get used to it, after you've been doing it for a while, you get better at it and it gets a little easier, but it's still work, and it's not always a walk in the park. Like for instance with Shelby, now sometimes he's great, as far as grooming habits go. Shelby, he loves bubble baths. He likes taking showers. He loves anything to do with water. He likes pedicures, manicures. He doesn't even mind me shaving him. He even likes to be shaved. But sometimes he doesn't want to brush his teeth. He brushes teeth, but sometimes he gets in the mood where he wants to brush his teeth, without being asked or anything 2 or 3 times a day. But then sometimes he want to wait all day or skip a day. And, well, with your teeth, you have to brush them all the time, or you might get gum disease. And I have to make sure that he doesn't eat too much sugar and have, and soda. And I know nobody wants anyone to say anything about any particular product that might be harmful. But sodas is not good for your gums, your teeth and your gums. But actually, I believe most of the problems that we have with our dental hygiene is, I think, starts with the gum area. But yeah, if you're having any problems, if you're having any signs of any type of issues starting up in your mouth, you might want to kind of consider how much soda you're consuming, especially if you're consuming sodas every day. Because I noticed that when we don't even have sodas around every day, and I noticed that we just, well, especially with myself, just everything just seems to be much better and everything is going well. And I think that was because I pretty much eliminated soda, except for on special occasions. And also, I don't want to say, but some sodas are better than others. I will say brown sodas, I guess it's something about the syrup or the ingredients they use. They seem to have more, they seem to wreak more havoc on your gums, especially if you drink 2 or 3 cans of soda a day. Or it's probably not best to have soda every day. And it's probably just like ice cream. It's not, I like ice cream, but ice cream is not good every day. All the things that we really like junk food and ice cream and soda, those are special occasion type of things. Cookies, cakes, pies, those are special occasion type of things. But many of us have incorporated eating these things on a daily basis, which is not good. And so, right. So when you're taking care of another adult, you have to take care of their teeth. You have to do things to make sure that they keep their gums healthy. They have to be bathed. Shelby and I, we bathe every day, and the good thing about that, you can kill 1 or 2 birds with one stone when you're bathing another adult. Now, Shelby is 6'1" and he's 200 pounds. So giving him a bath is kind of puts me in the mind of washing a car. It's like it never ends. It just, he's just so huge. But the good thing about it, at the same time, while I'm giving him a bath, I get to see if he's developing any type of skin rash, any type of parasites, any cuts, bruises that I may have not been able to see had he been fully dressed, and or even in his underclothes, I might not have seen it. But by me giving him a bath, I get to examine his feet, and so that's a good thing. And then you get to catch things at the beginning if you do notice anything. Shelby, one thing I've always said about Shelby, and I'm not just saying this because I'm his mom, Shelby has a very pleasant body odor. And the only issue that Shelby have is his feet. His feet, I had to spend just a little more attention to his feet because he's prone to get athlete feet, and that's probably due to swimming and walking around barefoot and taking showers in public places. So, but as long as I stay on top of it and make sure his feet are clean and dry, and I keep the athlete feet product at home all the time. So we always had that on hand in case we need it. And that's another thing about taking care of another adult, is having what you need at the house. So you don't have to, when you don't have to go out and you don't have to go to the doctor and you don't have to make an appointment for simple things, it keeps things, it makes things, it keeps things from getting out of hand. And so, and also taking care of another person, you want to just make sure. And Shelby, he's pretty self-sufficient. He's not a safety hazard. He likes to entertain himself most of the time. But Shelby, he likes to relax a lot. So if we're not actually at the swimming pool or at an amusement park, or just somewhere he wants to be at his favorite restaurant or something, if he's home, Shelby has a tendency to just want to lounge around, and which is no big deal actually. But the only concern that I have is that when the person that's relaxing, or even though he's not bedridden, he's very athletic. He's very strong. But when you're not in motion, a lot of people fail to realize that your body is not cooling itself off. Now, most of the time, here in Texas, that's something you definitely want to be aware of, because it gets very hot, and outdoors, of course. But if it does get hot inside, you have to make sure that the person that you're in charge of, that you have to take care of, is not overheating. And it may seem like there's no big deal because they're not moving, but because they're not moving, the body is not cooling itself off as efficiently as it does the person that's doing most of the work. You're doing the cooking and the cleaning and in and out of the house, or whatever it is that you have to do for the day. So when you're in motion, your body automatically, it's not like you're going to feel like an air conditioner is on all the time, but your body's cooling itself off because that's how it protects itself. It cools itself off of, and you sweat. Sweating also help cool you down, keep the temperature lower. And, but when you're just laying in the bed, all of that is not happening. So the person that's laying in the bed most of the day, or for hours at a time, you have to make sure that they are being cooled off more than yourself, more than the other people in the household that's moving around. The one that's in the bed or sitting in the chair most of the day, you have to make sure that they are being cooled off more than everyone else. And that is very important, because their temperature can get up to dangerous levels, and it won't cool. Their body won't cool itself off. So that's one thing I wanted to cover in this video, is keeping the person that you take care of cool. And Shelby, he has his own. Well, we have several fans. We actually have 3 large fans in our small cabin, and Shelby has the evaporator cooler that's on him directly. And then we have a large fan that we use as a ceiling fan, and it's not actually on the ceiling, but it's on the highest point on the wall, and that keeps the cabin itself from getting too hot. And then we also have another fan that circulates, and so that helps. It all helps. And so the cabin itself is pretty good. And we have other little things like ice. We try to keep ice and water. And the evaporator cooler, we actually put water in, and you can put ice in it inside the evaporator cooler as well. So, so even though you might be taking care of someone that's not an invalid, if they have a tendency to just lay around at home, then you want to make sure that they're staying cool. And also, I like to make sure that Shelby is staying in motion. He has some kind of physical activity during the day. Shelby, I say I have him do 15 push-ups at a time. And I say usually I try to have him do at least 4 or 5 sessions a day. So, so that's like 60, 75 push-ups during the day. And we do exercise. We do a modified version of what is used to be called the 8 count. I think it was the military used to call it the 8 count jumping jack. Well, it's modified because we're not as radical as it was done 20 years ago. I don't know what they're doing now, but we do that. Usually Chevy he expects me to do it with him. So I haven't actually, well, yeah, he's done it by himself, but he wants me to, cause we usually do 5 of the 8 count jumping jack. Now, about Chevy only being 24 years old, I'm pretty sure he can do much more than 5 sessions of it, but he expects me to do it along with him. So right now we're at 5, but yeah, but during the day, and sometimes we do 2 sessions. We do one early in the afternoon and one a little later in the evening. So that way, if he does nothing else, he's done some push-ups and he's done some 8 count jumping jacks, and we usually have some school work where he does some reading, or he does some math, or it's just something educational. It practice, keep his school work and his, keep his reading up. Because autistic people tend to forget things too. They learn a lot, and a lot of things will stick with them forever. But then also some things they get and they master for a short period of time, and then they forget it. So you have to relearn it, so it doesn't, so they don't completely forget it. And I think after a while, they if you keep introducing different things to them, like math lessons, reading, spelling, things like that, I think they will eventually, if you keep reintroducing it, it locks in. But so Chevy, with that, with the exercise and the push-ups and the school work, Chevy, he has a pretty busy day, and then, he does have to get up and down to put his movies in the television. But it sounds pretty simple, but it, over the course of the day, it helps keep him active. So he's not just completely laying around the entire day. And also it's good for him physically. I mean, a very young person is usually very active. So because Chevy's autistic, he's not out and about running around with his friends and, doing a lot of walking, or at this point he would be driving and in and out visiting friends. And even though he graduated from high school, he